Well, good evening, everyone. Let's make a start at 6 p.m. on Tuesday night, the 10th of March 2026. Welcome, one and all, to the agenda briefing for the City of Canning. I wanted to start by declaring the meeting open and acknowledging the Whadjuk people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we are here this evening. In accordance with the City of Canning's policy CM 105, agenda briefings are conducted to provide elected members with a forum to ask questions of the city's administration, and that's to enable informed decision-making by council at next week's ordinary council meeting. Agenda briefings are not decision-making forums. Questions may be asked and answered, but no debate or discussion is permitted. Questions tonight must specifically relate to an item on tonight's agenda. Elected members and employees must disclose any financial, proximity or partiality interest that they may have in an item on the agenda and declare the interest at the commencement of the briefing or at the latest when the item is about to be discussed. Financial, proximity and impartiality interests are to be disclosed in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government Act as they apply to council meetings. And elected members disclosing either a financial or proximity interest must not participate in that part of a briefing relating to their interest and must leave the meeting for the duration of the item. Agenda briefings are open to the public. This briefing is being live streamed to the public via the city's YouTube channel. And lastly, can I ask for everybody in the public gallery, please ensure your mobile phones are turned off. Thank you, or at least on silent for the duration of the meeting. A couple of announcements tonight. I just wanted to acknowledge International Women's Day, milestone. We've got such a wonderful group of young women on this council, so reflective of our community. I'm so proud of the council that we've become, and I'd like to just acknowledge the work of women in the community and the work still ahead of all of us to make sure that we have an equity position there in many aspects of our lives. I would also like to announce that it's Councillor Joanne Page's birthday today. Congratulations, Joanne, on your 21st birthday. Thanks for being here and giving up your evening to serve your community and sit here rather than be with your family. Appreciate that. You may realise that people around the room, many of us have got a flash of yellow on tonight, and there's good reason for that. Councillor Tucek, can you inform one of all why we are themed in yellow this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I'm sure all of our lives have been affected by the C word, we are wearing yellow tonight to support the Cancer Council WA Foundation as a charity at each agenda briefing. Thank you.
Cancer Council, great and a worthy recipient. Thanks, Councillor Tucek, and thank you to our staff and councillors for participating in such a worthy cause. At item 2 tonight, apologies, there are no apologies. At item 2.2, approved leave of absence. Councillor Jacobs has an approved leave of absence for the 16th of December through to the 12th of March. We hope to see him at next week's ordinary council meeting. Disclosures of interest at item 3. Chief Executive Officer Michael Littleton, can you please advise whether we've received any disclosures?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In relation to item 3.1, declarations of financial interest, I have received none. In relation to item 3.2, declarations of impartiality, I've received 3. The first from Councillor Kunze in relation to item OC 00526. It is in relation to tender 28/2025 for construction of Ferndale Park Pavilion. The nature of Councillor Kunze's association is he is a life member of the Linwood Ferndale Football Club, which holds the lease over the current club rooms and is a stakeholder in this process. This does not affect my impartiality, and I will consider the matter solely on its merits. The second is from Councillor Paul Tucek. It is in relation to item PD 002 of 26. It is in relation to the initiation of proposed amendment number 3 to the Queen's Park Structure Plan. The nature of Councillor Tucek's association is his mother lives within the structure plan area. The final declaration I've received is from Councillor Michelle Hurn. It is in relation to PD 002 of 26. It is in relation to initiation of proposed amendment number 3 to Queen's Park Structure Plan. The nature of Councillor Hurn's interest is she owns property in the planning scheme area.
Thank you, CEO Michael Littleton. Item 4, question time for public. I'm going to open public question time now. It's just 3 minutes past 6. The time set aside for public question time is 15 minutes, which may be extended if necessary. A question must relate to items listed on the agenda this evening. For recording purposes, please state your name and the suburb and then proceed to ask your question just at the microphone and the lectern there at the front of the room. If an answer cannot be provided at tonight's meeting, and we'll try our best to provide one, the question will be taken on notice and an answer will be provided to you at the next ordinary council meeting, which happens to be next Tuesday evening. In accordance with policy AD02, members of the public who have registered their interest to ask questions will be called in the order that registrations were received. Written questions will always precede verbal questions. Sorry, the time now is 4 minutes past. Mr. Stephen Johnston, you here? Mr. Johnston isn't here. We'll read the question. I've got a question. Did the terms of reference for the environmental assessment of 351 Bannister Road, that's Canning Vale, include a specific requirement that the consultants assess trees on the block against the city's criteria for inclusion on the significant tree register and make recommendations accordingly on the trees that should be included on the register? I'll read the response, Director, if you... I'll just keep going. The Director of Infrastructure and Environment's response is, the environmental surveys undertaken at that block required the identification of large mature trees as part of the ecological assessment of potential fauna habitat. Through this process, the survey recorded 13 trees with a diameter at least breast height, greater than 500 millimetres. They were identified as potential black cockatoo habitat trees. Question 2. If not, how will the environmental assessment, as the administration puts it, inform the council's consideration of specific trees at 351 Bannister Road for inclusion on the register? The city's response is the administration will arrange for these trees to be formally assessed against the city's significant tree register criteria, as well as reviewing all other trees on the site, and any other trees that meet the criteria can then be considered for inclusion on the register. End of questions from Mr. Johnston. Elaine Foote, you are here. Ms. Foote, there you are over the back. Would you like to come forward? You've got a number of questions you wanted to ask. Did you want to read those yourself to the public gallery? If I can ask you just to, hi John, can I just get you just to introduce yourself to the councillors and then ask you questions?
Okay, my name's Elaine Foote. I'm the president of the Canning District Hockey Club and have been for the past 50 years with the exception of 2. This is Jono, my vice president. Ours is of concern that's going on at Ferndale Reserve, that's why it's the subject is this tonight, is it was quite some time before the Canning Hockey Club, or Canning Cougars we call ourselves, were actually made aware that there was going to be developments at Ferndale Park. And it was quite well into the discussions and what have you that we were made aware that was going on. So basically what we're asking for, this is the 2 questions in one, is how can we avoid this being done now? Because at the moment now, I'm here to represent the club to try and let councillors know and public that our mini turf we built probably about 12 years ago.
I'll just have to stop you there. I'll just have to ask you to, this is a public question time. I just need your question and then we'll provide an answer to your question. I understand you're doing a deputation in a few minutes' time, so yep, maybe that would be a best address then, but this is only for asking questions and then we'll provide you with a written or a verbal answer. Right. So I'll just ask you to read your first question if you wouldn't mind.
The first question is, how come that we were excluded from the discussions with the football club and the cricket club with the Shire, which obviously you won't be able to answer that here anyway. And the second question is, what do we do to stop this happening to us again or other clubs as well? So it's probably not something that...
Director Fisher.
Hi, Elaine and Jono. Thanks for coming into council tonight, and thanks for posing your questions to us. So I acknowledge your concerns around the loss of the mini turf, but I really hope that we can work together in the future to get the best solution for the club going forward. In regards to that first questions around engagement with the club, it's my understanding from the team that the Canning District Hockey Club, since the project was first introduced in 2023, we're involved in a range of engagement opportunities around with us providing written updates, provision of concept plans and in-person meetings. The club has also received regular project updates and has participated in meetings with city officers during the design process. In addition, representatives of Canning District Hockey Club have met with the city CEO, the mayor and elected members on multiple occasions over the last 12 to 18 months to discuss the project, raise concerns and provide feedback. The city remains committed to ongoing engagement with all user groups at Ferndale Reserve and will continue to work collaboratively with Canning District Hockey Club as the project progresses through construction and into operation. And I can probably answer your second question about what the city will do to ensure that you're engaged in the future as well, Elaine. As an identified key stakeholder in the project, the Canning District Hockey Club will be included in all correspondence and ongoing discussions relating to the project.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. And your third question was just in relation to a council vote having already taken place. That hasn't taken place, but Director Fisher, can I get you to provide some narrative in relation to that question?
Yes,
that was the question, I think.
The question
Elaine, was that right?
is that only just recently we were advised that the two people I was talking to, which was the mayor and Michael Littleton, and when I was discussing it all with Jono, and they basically said, we don't make decisions ourselves here, it goes to council and it's already been voted on. I'm just going to clarify, has it been voted on? Is this, I don't see much of it in the minutes or anything like that. Is the mini turf actually being discussed? Is it something that everybody's aware of what's supposed to happen? So what was the true account there? I mean, is that right? Has it been voted on? Or was
I'll
that
ask
just...
the CEO to respond. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
CEO
Mayor.
Michael Littleton.
Only to say, I was certainly at that meeting, Elaine, with you and Jono. We at no point had we said that council had made a decision. We did certainly say that should council make a decision to award a contract to build a new clubroom facility at Ferndale Reserve, that project included the removal of the mini turf. That decision is in front of council next week. So this is the agenda briefing. The construction contract that is the subject of council's agenda next week includes the development of the Ferndale Changeroom, which will see the mini turf being will not be retained as part of that project.
Thank you. And I understand you're doing a deputation in just a moment. In fact, I've got it as the next item on the agenda. Thank you. Are there any other questions from the public gallery before we move on? None, thank you. We shall move on then to item 4.3, which are deputations. Elaine, you're up right now, I think. A deputation has been submitted by Elaine Foote on behalf of the Canning Districts Hockey Club regarding item OC 005 of 26. It's 10 to 28/2025 for the construction of Ferndale Park Pavilion. Johnny, you're doing the deputation, eh?
Yes, yeah.
Can I get you just to introduce yourself to the council? Thank you.
Hi. So my name's Jonathan Sorci, Vice President of the Canning Districts Hockey Club. I'd like to address the proposed development at Ferndale Reserve. In 2024, the city came to us with plans to redevelop the club rooms at Ferndale that service Canning Districts Hockey Club, Linwood Ferndale Football Club and Ferndale Linwood Cricket Club. Drawings were shared that showed new club rooms at the site with bigger and better facilities, a positive change for all clubs at the site. After about 6 months, however, consultation with the hockey club dried up until April of 2025, where we were informed by the CEO that the new building was now going to be built over the hockey club's turf and there was no other option. At that time, and throughout the last 12 months, we have shared with the administration the importance of the turf to our club and the loss of it potentially meaning the end of our club. The whole club centres around the turf: training, social games, developing our juniors, and dinners as a community after training. It gives the club a sense of identity and allows our teams to train as we play on turf rather than grass, and locally at preferable times midweek. Other hockey clubs in the area, like Vic Park, need to travel as far as places like Dayton to train on turf, as they don't have a turf, and all other turfs in the area are booked out. Other clubs that do have a turf charge their members much higher fees. Canning Districts caters to members of our community like new migrants and lower socioeconomic households that would otherwise not have the opportunity to play hockey, and the turf allows them to improve their game and be involved in their community. We would ask that the plans for the development in their current form not be endorsed, and for the hockey club to be involved in future consultation to deliver an outcome that activates the 3 ovals at the reserve while still preserving the hockey turf. We've also submitted a letter from Hockey WA for the support of for the retention of the artificial grass training area at Ferndale Reserve, which I'll also share now. So this is from the General Manager, Australian Hockey Centre, Integrity Manager, Hockey WA, Graham Hall. Hockey WA writes to express its strong support for the Canning Districts Hockey Club and to emphasise the importance of retaining the artificial graining training area at Ferndale Reserve. Hockey WA understands that there is a level of community concern regarding the potential loss or repurposing of this facility. As the state sporting organisation for hockey in Western Australia, we wish to highlight the significant value that this type of small-sided training and social playing space provides to local clubs and to the support more broadly. Canning Districts Hockey Club plays an essential role within our hockey ecosystem. It is a well-established feeder club that nurtures junior athletes, provides inclusive participation opportunities, and supports people of all ages who wish to remain involved in social and community-based hockey. Local training options are particularly important for clubs like Canning Districts, whose members rely on accessible facilities close to home. Hockey WA has long supported the development of modified or community-scale hockey venues. These spaces are specifically identified within Hockey WA's strategic facilities plan as a priority for growing grassroots participation. Full-size synthetic hockey pitches are costly to hire, operate and maintain, and for many clubs the level of demand does not justify exclusive access to such infrastructure. Smaller, flexible surfaces such as the Ferndale Reserve provide an ideal, practical and financially sustainable alternative. We have recently supported similar developments proposed in other regions, including facilities in Margaret River, where small-sided venues have significantly improved local training capacity and increased social hockey engagement. The Ferndale surface delivers the same type of community benefit and aligns directly with our strategic vision for the sport. While Canning Districts Hockey Club can access nearby full pitches at Southern River, Fremantle, Coburn and the Perth Hockey Stadium for formal fixtures and selected training, the existence of local, low-cost, community-based training surface at Ferndale Reserve remains highly beneficial. It reduces financial strain on the club, strengthens player retention, encourages social participation, and fosters greater neighbourhood connection. The loss of this surface would be disappointing and detrimental not only to Canning Districts Hockey Club, but also to Hockey WA. We see this type of facility as an example of the inclusive, accessible, community-focused model that should be encouraged across the state. Hockey WA would welcome the opportunity to meet the City of Canning to discuss the value and benefits of modified training venues in more detail should this assist with your future planning or deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming along this evening, I appreciate it. Do we have Dean Pearson in the room? Dean, I'm going to just back up the truck a bit. I forgot to ask a question that I think you had posed. It was in relation to confirmation that the new build was on track. I think that was it. Did you want me just to see if I can get a response? CEO, can I just ask, Mr. Pearson of Clayton Road in Ferndale is asking a question, just requesting confirmation of the new build at Ferndale Reserve, whether or not it is currently on track. obviously subject to the awarding of a tender.
Yeah, the matter is in front of council at the moment, Mr Pearson. So largely we have identified the delivery timeframes. It will be one of the elements that will need to be communicated once a tender is awarded. There is a little bit more work to do around value and price, but once those things are determined, we'll then be able to confirm for all the users the delivery timeframes. Again, that's assuming that council or that the matter is resolved this month.
Sorry for overlooking your question. Sorry, Mr Pearson. Thank you, CEO Michael Littleton. We're going to move on to item 5, which are items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery. There are none. Reports of committee meetings, there are none this evening. The first report is item 7, item 7.1. It's OC 002 of 26. It's from the Directorate of the CEO, Mr Michael Littleton, and the title of the report is Motions from the 2026 Annual General Meeting of Electors. The recommendation is on page 6 of the agenda and is on screen. Councillors, any questions in relation to that first item? Councillor Kunze, and then I'll come to Councillor Hurn.
Just the one question, Mayor Hall, through you to Director Bowe. Just with respect to Mr Johnston's questions, I think I got it right, but just in regard to a timeline, when will the further assessment of the significant trees be undertaken in addition to those 13 mature trees that were identified?
Director Bowe, timeline.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thanks for the question, Councillor Kunze. Over the next couple of months, we have received the fauna and flora studies, which did identify the 13 trees, so we'll progress the further assessment of those trees separately and bring back a report to Council for consideration as to whether or not they would be included on the significant tree register.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hurn.
My question relates to motion 3. Would Director Bowe please, through you, Mr Mayor, comment on whether there is any significant dumping adjacent to and in the skip bins in the laydown areas, and do we have any quantitative data on dumping volumes in those areas?
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillor Hurn, I went and had a look at the site today and I'm happy to report there is no illegal dumping at around 1:30 p.m. this afternoon in and around the compound that we keep the Veolia skip bins in. And certainly I'm also happy to provide some up-to-date statistics on illegal dumping reports. The information that is contained in the agenda was simply taken from the most recent strategic issues briefing that was presented late last year. So I'm happy to provide that updated information prior to the ordinary council meeting.
Thank you, Director. Yes, Councillor.
I just want to clarify that my question isn't necessarily about ad hoc dumping. My question is about whether if we have unattended skip bins in our community, whether it does actually draw further dumping. Do we actually have any quantitative data around that would support the city's position on this motion?
Do we keep that data?
I think the short answer, Mr Mayor, is no. I don't have any quantitative data, Councillor Hurn.
CEO.
Thank you. Some of that assessment is largely driven from the charity bin. So you would see in the agenda item that there was a number of photos that were represented where it is clearly evident that illegal dumping is happening around those types of bins. And if you look largely metro-wide, that is the experience that we see in charitable bins in particular. The other assessment that was undertaken, I guess, was as the experience that we had, particularly around the bulk verge collections, where the indiscriminate dumping, illegal dumping, or dumping from outside of the district, and commercial dumping were all prevalent during bulk skip bulk verge collections, which is largely why the city sought to adjust its service level to the skip bins that it currently uses.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Kunze, I'll come back to you and then I'll go to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Following on from Councillor Hurn's question, does the city not get reports with respect to people illegally dumping in skip bins that the city provides? It's a common comment that people make that their skip bin arrives and people dump in there. Do people not make complaints to the city?
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, there are certainly reports, Councillor Kunze, of skip bins being utilised by people who haven't necessarily ordered them. But as far as complaints and whether or not we can substantiate that that's a result of illegal dumping, we don't really keep the statistics on that.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I note Director Bowe's comments just a few moments ago regarding that particular graph in paragraph 24. I do have a number of concerns about that graph and the information that it represents. Does it include statistics regarding illegal dumping on verges? And if not, why not?
Director Bowe.
It's simply the category that we have created in our requested system doesn't enable us to differentiate between the specifics, Deputy Mayor.
I think because it does say down the bottom, figures do not include verge litter issues. So I'm assuming that one of the most common types of dumping or littering would be on the verge. Is that correct?
Director Bowe.
Yes, that would be correct, but there are significantly other examples of littering in public open space, in reserves, indiscriminate littering adjacent to charity bins or skips that are placed out on the verge. So we don't actually keep the exact specific data about the nature of the illegal dumping.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Does the graph also include reports made by elected members and or litter dump rubbish picked up by city staff during the course of their duties?
Are they captured in that, Director Bowe?
I'd have to take that on notice, Mr Mayor.
Just for clarification, are you talking about perhaps emails sent by elected members directly outside of the reporting system? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, either via email or requested, Mr Mayor. Yes, that's correct. A couple of other questions, if I may. In paragraph 29, the city advises that the service level agreement to respond to dump rubbish is 10 days or less. Who is that agreement between?
Director Bowe.
It is not between anyone, Deputy Mayor. It's our service level that we assign to the requested cases and that we resolve within that time frame.
And the commitment to respond between 3 to 10 days, is that standard across all local governments? I note that the City of Rockingham will respond within 24 hours of a report.
Director Bowe. Are we lagging behind, Director Bowe? What's going on?
Oh, look, I couldn't speak on behalf of all the other local governments, Mr Mayor. I think we provide a very responsive service in relation to illegal dumping. We spend quite an amount on illegal dumping, and whilst we don't necessarily meet everyone's expectations in that space, I think we do a pretty good job.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
How many fines has the city issued for illegal dumping in the last financial year?
Director Bowe, is that something you know off the top of your head?
I'd have to take that on notice,
Take
Mr
that
Mayor.
on notice. Thank you.
One more, thank you, Mr Mayor. Is the waste team have delegated authority to investigate dump rubbish rather than just rangers turning up to a site of dump rubbish and then having to report it to the waste team to clean up?
Director Bowe, how's that handled?
No, they don't, Mr Mayor. They aren't authorised officers under the relevant legislation, and that is a conscious decision. Our rangers and our community safety officers are the most appropriate people to undertake those investigations.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions on the motions from the annual general meeting of electors? Thank you, councillors. We shall move on then. Thank you, Director Bowe. Thank you all. OC 003 of 26 is the next item. The item is, the report's name is Submission to WALGA, being the Western Australian Local Government Association, on proposals for local government electoral reform. The recommendation is on page 14 of the agenda, and it is on screen right now. It relates to a decision that WALGA would like to take in relation to compulsory voting or not compulsory voting, and a 4-year spill or not a 4-year spill. Any questions in relation to the item, councillors? Councillor Secon, yes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just have a question. When do we expect WALGA to release the outcome of this consultation and to make a decision?
I'm not sure that we actually know that The answer to that, CEO, I don't think I'm on the State Council for WALGA, and I don't know that. We want to take a position before the state government makes an announcement. So I'd say they're going to try to do it as expediently as they possibly can, but I don't think they have a definitive date on it. CEO, is that exactly what you were going to say?
Exactly the same, Mr. Mayor. Other than what they've asked us to do is to lodge our submission by the 27th of March. They will consolidate all of the local government's feedback, and that will inform the State Council consideration of the matter.
Thank you, Councillor Secon. Any further questions before I move on? Thank you. We shall move on then. The next item is OC 004 of 26, proposed lease renewal, Saws Ain't Soils at lot 9000, number 300, Bannister Road in Canning Vale. The officer's recommendation, which is in 3 parts, appears on page 34 of tonight's agenda, and it is now on screen. Councillors, any questions in relation to the proposed lease for Saws Ain't Soils? Councillor Hurn, yes, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Councillor Hurn.
What is the current termination notice period on this lease?
I didn't understand that.
My apologies. What is the current termination notice period on this lease?
CEO.
There is no termination period, Councillor Hurn. I'm just trying to get the relevant clause up. But as I recall, we had spoken about a 12-month termination. It is a commercial lease, and on that basis, that would need to be by agreement. The proponent did not agree to a 12-month termination. I believe that there is enough provision in the lease to ensure that that we are able to have this land divested back to us in 5 years in an appropriate condition, which is our biggest concern at the moment. It's being used as a garden centre, and there's a fair degree of product being stored at the back end of the site. Our focus has been to get the leased land back, and the financial provisions are there to try and assist that.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Hurn.
Sorry, I think maybe you're misunderstanding. I'm not talking about the proposed lease renewal. I'm talking about the lease as it stands if the renewal was not granted.
CEO.
If this lease is not granted, they're currently on a holdover month to month, Councillor Hurn. So we have a termination right.
Okay, sorry, I have a few questions on this one. Given that the leasing value estimate used is from 1.5 years ago in a high growth real estate market period, why is Council being asked to endorse this valuation as a true indication of value under the Act?
CEO.
We identify in the report the reasons for that, Councillor Hurn. So we received a market valuation 18 months ago at $790,000. Obviously, the proposal is to adopt a rental return that is less than that, but the reasons for doing so are clearly articulated in the item. I'll just... Is it not? So the valuation, so yes, the reasons for doing so are articulated in para 9.
Noting the proposed bond is just $100,000, if this commercial operator were to walk away today and leave the site in an as-is state, is it likely to cost us more than the approximate $2 million to be received under this lease and take 5 years to remediate the site?
CEO.
There is no doubt we would need to remediate the site. If the current tenant was to vacate the site, they do have a requirement to make good. We suspect that that the challenge is to manage that process, Councillor Hurn. So, if they were to leave the site as it is, then I suspect that would be a matter that we would take legally.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Hurn.
Has interest been sought from the market for other commercial uses for this site in whole or in part?
No, we have not done a market approach. The reasons for not doing so is you would be aware that this land abuts the lease area that we provided to Regroup. This particular parcel which directly abuts it, Regroup has an option that they will exercise after a 5-year period. We actually think that a market approach would be far better once we understand the long-term tenure of the abutting parcel of land. So if Regroup were to relinquish that parcel of land, then the opportunity for the city to put both the Sorci and Sorci land and that Regroup land to the market would probably represent a far better outcome for the community than just going, on a individual land basis.
Councillor Hurn.
Just my last question, please. Is it reasonable to say that the current land use is not only non-compliant with approved uses, but also represents significant hazards?
CEO.
The land use as a garden centre is approved and is consistent with the zoning. There is no doubt that the land in this area does suffer from contamination. It is an old landfill, so it's not as a direct result necessarily of Sorci and Sorci use, but we are doing some contamination review over both this land and obviously our landfill site, just to ensure that we are effectively dealing with the contamination or focusing on what the future land use can be.
I'm sorry, I'm probably not referring so much to the contamination. I'm talking about the fact that it appears in the motion that a lot of rubbish is being stored on site, including pallets, and surely this has got to be a fire hazard. I mean, they're currently non-compliant. Is that not correct?
CEO.
I suspect that they are compliant with the land use. If it is a use that is governed by DWER, then they would need to meet the DWER requirements to be able to store and process pallets. The use as a garden centre is compliant.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Any further questions on the lease for Sorci and Sorci? Thank you. We shall move on. The next item is OC 005 of 26. The title of this report is Tender 28/2025 for the construction of Ferndale Park Pavilion in Ferndale. The officer's recommendation, which is in 2 parts, appears on page 44 of tonight's agenda, and it is also on screen. Any questions in relation to the tender? Councillor Hurn.
I've been through the agenda, the long attachments, the confidential attachments. I can't see any drawings associated with this tender being awarded, so I'm just confused that we're being asked to award a high-value tender without knowing exactly what's going to be delivered.
CEO, did you want to, Mr. Kelton?
I'm happy to take that one.
Thank you.
Through the chair. I'm happy to share those drawings with council.
Surely these drawings should be in the item so the public can see what council is being asked to, approve, and we know what we're approving, and it's all, in the correct format.
Thank you. That'll be shared with council. Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Hurn.
I note the reference in clause 3 concerning CSRFF's $2 million community grants. It states as an intended priority outcomes to increase female participation in sport and physical recreation activities. This is the CEO's item, so questions to the CEO. Could you please, CEO through Mr. Mayor, advise the female membership numbers and team numbers of the cricket, football and hockey clubs based at Ferndale Reserve?
Do we have that information at hand?
Not at hand. We'll have to provide that to you, Councillor Hurn.
Take that on notice.
I'm just a little bit surprised we've gone so far through this process without knowing the female participation rates at the clubs when it is a priority objective for this grant from the state government. Can you explain how this priority objective has been incorporated into the facility design and tender proposal as it stands?
CEO.
Just to confirm, the female participation and the club participation was clearly articulated in the needs assessment that was undertaken by the projects team and informed the development of scope in this work. So that work was done quite some time ago. So you appreciate that I don't have that to hand. What I would say is that the focus of the development, particularly the change room development, deals largely with gender-neutral change rooms that ensures that there is equal access for both female and male participation in sport. There is no doubt that the further developments around Ferndale Park, lighting and oval redevelopment are all designed to ensure that female participation is accommodated, as well as juniors and male participation. Understanding also that female football in particular is currently played at night. So lighting those oval spaces will be critical to increasing the capacity of Ferndale Reserve for that purpose.
Thank you. Councillor Hurn.
And yet there is currently no football teams, female football teams or female cricket teams, and yet there is one hockey club team that is female. So actually, by making it harder for the hockey club to participate at this venue,
just your question, Councillor Hurn.
Is it correct we're reducing female participation in sport?
CEO.
Well, no. The female hockey team plays on turf. From a hockey viewpoint, synthetic or turf. So the female team plays off-site. The training facility is the Canning District's point, which is the mini turf, and the project does include the decommissioning of the mini turf facility. But access for female participation remains a critical component of this project.
Thank you. Councillor Hurn.
Sorry, I just have two more questions, if I may. Clause 32 refers to engagement with the leaseholders through briefing, scoping and design phases. Is there a reason this motion does not state who these leaseholders are and what was said during consultation?
CEO.
This is consistent with the way that that the city reports the consultation process. We have a stakeholder engagement process. If council wish to see that, we're welcome to share it, but we don't go into the specific detail of all of the consultation and all of the meetings that have been had with clubs, Councillor Hurn.
My final question. I do not note in this briefing any reference to the demolition of the 80-year-old Canning Hockey Club's facilities. Can it be confirmed that this is a result of this tender? And if so, is there a reason it has not been made specifically clear that the award of this tender achieves that outcome in a decision being made by council next week?
CEO.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The decommissioning of the mini turf has been clearly articulated to council as part of the briefings. The report in itself does not specify the decommissioning of the mini turf. However, those things have been made very clear through the process.
Thank you. Councillor Kunze.
Thank you. Can you just confirm that there is a women's football team and there are women that play for the Linwood Ferndale Football Club? So I'm not quite sure why that assertion was made. It wasn't properly responded to.
Yeah, yes, I can confirm those things, and I also confirm that the focus is to grow the game in all elements from an AFL viewpoint, as it is for cricket, Councillor Kunze.
Thank you. With respect to paragraph 33, it briefly comments on the transition facilities, the alternative facilities during construction. What actually is the city doing with respect to the 12 months of construction? With accommodating the relative clubs?
CEO.
I might just throw that to Mr Hinks, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Through the chair. So they will still retain their club rooms, but there'll be some temporary change rooms located on the site.
Thank you. I've just got a couple of questions.
Yes, Councillor Kunze.
So the report speaks to the leaseholders and facility users being engaged and consulted. Can I just confirm that the Linwood Ferndale Footy Club is in support and properly engaged their members regarding the demolition of the club rooms given the scope of the tender includes that.
Is that a question we're able to answer tonight, or do we need to take that on notice?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we have consulted with the president and some of the committee as to whether they've communicated that with the members, you mean?
Yeah, just
Councillor
with regard to the members, because obviously we're making a decision on the tender, which includes the demolition of the building. I just want to make sure that the actual club members are aware of it. Is the city aware of if that's been properly communicated? Because it's potentially a bad publicity or bad moment if we're not across whether the clubs are properly communicating that with their members.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, we've certainly confirmed that the presidents are aware. We can take on notice and check if they've informed the participants.
Thank you. Councillor Kunze?
Thank you. With respect to the tender documents, there's a number of attachments referenced but not included within the confidential attachments. Is there a reason why?
CEO, do you know which they are? Councillor Kunze, can you advise which they are?
Sorry, my hub's been closing on its own lately. So there's 5 attachments at the end of the tender report that's referenced in it. Four attachments. One of them's included. I don't believe the others are.
I've got 2 attachments referenced in the report, the tender eval and the probity certificate.
So page 25 of the confidential attachment.
I might just take that on notice if that's okay, Councillor Kunze.
Thanks, Councillor. Any further questions?
Yeah, just one last. With respect to the tenderers, does the city have an open post-tender discussion with those companies that scored highly but didn't succeed in getting the job as to why and what might help them over the line in future tenders?
CEO?
We're available to have those conversations with unsuccessful tenderers. We usually do that on request.
Thank you. Any further questions on the item before we move on? Deputy Mayor? And then I'll come to Councillor Secon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple, if I may. Referring to paragraph 25, what are the value engineering opportunities and tender options the city is exploring to reduce the contract price?
Ms Hinks?
Through the Mayor, there's multiple options for alternate material types for things like cladding. There's some different materials or plant and equipment for things like air conditioning. It's mainly those types of things, and I think it's up to about 180,000 in value engineering.
Deputy Mayor?
Last one, Mr. Mayor. Is the city in a position to be able to make a firm commitment to the Canning Districts Hockey Club that it will endeavour to find a mini-turf facility to train, preferably within the city of Canning, or will that need an amendment next week?
CEO, you able to address that?
I think, the city has explored opportunities within its current facilities. What we have offered the Canning Districts Hockey Club is we have committed to working with them to see what other facilities we might be able to try and negotiate some better training times at a turf facility, not necessarily a mini turf, but a turf facility. So we are certainly very happy to continue those conversations with Canning Districts. We are also looking at whether we can improve the grass facilities that are already there. I appreciate that's not to Canning District's liking, but if we can improve some of the turf areas that are there, some of the grass areas that are there, that will certainly be things that we're looking at as well. We continue to be open to looking at and exploring every opportunity to try and make sure that that we can cater for Canning districts as best we can. Appreciate that the current construction contract, should that decision be made, sees their current mini-turf being decommissioned.
Thank you. Any further questions before we move on? Thank you, councillors. Oh, sorry, councillor Second, I forgot. Go ahead.
Mayor Hall, just wanted to confirm if the city currently, can the city confirm whether the preferred tenderer for this project is currently holding any services or holds any active contracts with the City of Canning?
CEO. Are you able to answer that question? Or?
The preferred proponent is a regular contractor with the city, so we do have some good experience with this contractor.
And just one more question. Should council accept the tender and approve this item next week, when is the anticipated commencement date? And
Mr. Binks? Mr. Hinks?
Through the chair, that'll be subject to negotiation on the value engineering, but also submission of they will submit a program of work which we need to agree on, but hopefully sooner rather than later once council make a decision.
Thank you. Councillor Page?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just querying whether Hockey WA were involved in discussions looking for support, financial contribution for the redevelopment of the mini-turf, and if so, what was the outcome of that discussion?
Mr. Hinks? Mr. Gasardi, can you provide some information around those conversations?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we did engage with Hockey WA. In terms of contribution from Hockey WA, no, that was not forthcoming. They have a strategic facilities plan, which obviously has other priorities, so they weren't willing to obviously commit at this stage.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Page? It does. Thank you, councillors. Councillors, we'll move on then. Thank you very much. The next item is tender 29 of 2025. It's report OC 006 of 26. It's for the new Wyong Park Changerooms and the renewal of the Merv McIntosh Pavilion. The officer's recommendation is on page 53 of tonight's agenda and is currently on screen. Any questions in relation to that tender? Councillor Hurn.
Once again, I'm looking for the drawings and not sure why I can't see what we're being asked to award a multi-million-dollar tender to build. Is there a reason that council and the public have not been provided with drawings of what this tender is being awarded for?
Can we, I don't think there's a reason for it. Is it normally the practice that we would put the working drawings in the report or some sort of drawings in the report? Mr. CEO.
Look, we're certainly happy to include that, Councillor Hurn. It hasn't been subject of previous reports. It has been subject of previous briefings, but you know, we're very happy to provide that level of detail.
Thank you. Councillor Hurn.
Second question. Once again, I note the reference to an $800,000 CSR-FF grant and the intended priority outcomes once more concerning increasing female participation in sport and physical recreation activities. I'm interested in which elements of design prioritise this intended priority outcome, or is it also inadvertent to the design?
CEO?
Absolutely not inadvertent. It is, you know, in all of our design and development these days, it's about creating gender neutrality. The current Merv Mac facility in particular is essentially a very male-dominated environment. This club similarly is very proactive from a female footy viewpoint in particular. So the design elements ensure that it is a gender neutral facility.
Thank you. Any further questions on that particular tender? Thank you, councillors. We'll move to item 7.2 under the directorate of Mr. Nelson Maurizio, the Director of Corporate and Commercial. It's CC 003 of 26. It's the monthly financial report for back in January 2026. Any questions in relation to January's financial report? Yes, Councillor Page.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to query on page 75 under infrastructure assets, under the Queen's Park Regional Open Space, there's Kent Street Weir project has been completed under budget. Just wanted to clarify what exact project that one was
Mr. Moritz?
referring to?
Have you found that?
Page 75.
Yeah, my understanding that would be a sort of minor project at that location, and the savings were transferred to the Kent Street Weir Playground. But maybe Mr. Bowe, Director Bowe.
Mr. Bowe, are you able to answer that one?
Yeah, I think I can, Mr. Mayor. It just seems to be a replication of the comment above and a misalignment. Councillor Page will remedy that for the OCM.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions before we move on? Councillor Kunze?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Page 75 as well, the line item for the Monty's Park infrastructure upgrades. So it got comments that excess funds have been recommended to be reallocated as part of the mid-year review to the below projects, Bywater Park, Bore and Sport and Courting Renewal. That funding was the $150,000 isolated from the nearby land sale for localised POS improvements. Why has it been recommended to go to Bywater Park and Wilson for a bore upgrade?
Director Bowe, are you able to answer that question?
I'll take that on notice, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to provide a consolidated response.
We'll get back to you on that one. Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Secon, yes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just under capital expenditure, Pine Tree Gully, the traffic calming treatment is 80% completed as of January 2026. I just wanted to find out what's left to do, including the anticipated completion date.
Mr. Bowe, is that something you know about? You're looking over that way. The traffic calming measures in Pine Tree Gully Road. There's a lot of nodding and smiling going on in the gallery.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take that on notice, Mr. Mayor.
We'll take that on notice. We'll get an answer back to you. Thank you very much. Any further questions before we move on? Deputy Mayor Mark Bain.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple, and I'm happy to take them on notice. The Metcalfe-Nicholson Road intersection upgrade. When is the city expecting the signals to be turned on and functioning? And would it also please be possible to remove the large street sign frame that's been bent on site? I was hoping it would have been completed as part of the works, but it's still standing there. So I'm hoping that can be removed when the opportunity arises. And the other question is there's a number of completed road resurfacing projects on here, including Riley Road, Ferndale, Crescent and Fern Road. Are we able to find out from Main Roads WA when they're going to come and paint the lines? Because we seem to have been waiting for quite an extended period for that. Thank you.
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to get back to all councillors and Deputy Mayor with a response on that.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, councillors. Moving on then, we will go to CC 004 of 26, and that would be the budget review as at the 31st of January 2026. When this item comes to council on Tuesday, an absolute majority will be required. The recommendation is on page 100 of tonight's agenda and is also on screen. Any questions in relation to the budget review? Councillor Page, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is regarding on page 104, paragraph 13B. It says Laurie West grant 400K for Kent Street Weir Playground. I thought that was for 1.4 million.
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You are correct, Councillor Page. That reflects an increase of $400,000 to the anticipated grant amount from 1 million to 1.4 million.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Page. Any further questions on the item? Thank you. We shall then move on the next item.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sorry,
I have
Councillor
a couple of
Kunze.
questions.
Yep.
Sorry for being a bit slow. I'm not sure what page it is in the report. There's reference to the Canning Vale Sports Facility, the project costs increasing for the planning. I was just wondering how much that is.
Mr. Hinks?
Through the chair, I can't quite see it here, but I think it's another 120,000 just by memory. Might be a little bit more than that, and that's just to pay for some consultants' costs.
Can I get you just to confirm that offline with Councillor Kunze and CC and Council, just in relation to that when you find your place? Thank you, Mr. Hinks. Yes, Councillor Kunze.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. So my understanding is that the Monty Square funding for the barbecue is being redirected to Nerdy Park playground fencing. Is that correct, Director Bowe?
Director Bowe.
Yes, Councillor Kunze, that's one of the projects that we've identified to reallocate some of the savings derived from not implementing the barbecue.
Yeah, so is that like incorporated in a line item? It's not referenced in the report?
Director Bowe.
Yeah, no, it won't. It's not specifically referenced in the report, Mr. Mayor, but that is where the proposed funds are to be reallocated.
So I just want to confirm, my understanding was, given that the barbecue expenditure was part of a council resolution that was to be enacted by the 31st of October,
property.
that in order to redirect the funds, we'd need a council resolution to change that. Why is it not included within the mid-year review council recommended officer recommendation?
Director Bowe.
I'm happy to take that on notice, Mr. Mayor, and get some governance advice on that particular element.
I'll get back to you on that, Councillor. Thank you. Any further questions on that item? Councillor Page.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On page 117, talking about sustainability and waste fleet management, that there is reduced expense budget because the waste trucks are not being replaced this financial year. Can I ask why that is, why they're not being replaced this financial year?
Director Bowe.
I believe that it's as a result of the actual delivery, Councillor Page. I only heard today that whilst the most recent update was April, the 5 waste trucks that are on back order are unlikely to arrive until June, but I'll get some further information on that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors. In the absence of any further questions on that item, we will move on, and the next item will be PD 002 of 26. It's item 7.3 from the Directorate of Mr. Graham Bride, the Director of Planning and Development. The title of the report is Initiation of Proposed Amendment Number 3 to the Queen's Park Structure Plan. The officer's recommendation, parts 1 and 2, appear on screen and also on page 121 of the agenda. Any questions in relation to the proposed amendment to the Queen's Park Structure Plan? Thank you, Councillor. And just for the record, you did raise a disclosure earlier. Thank you for making it. Councillor Hurn.
My first question is concerning a question raised someone who could not attend today. They've asked me to ask the question. How has it been decided to remove the double-storey requirement for Fitzroy Street and Wellington Street? 2 streets with a number of double-storey builds, but to retain the requirement for Prince Street, and I'm specifically talking between Renewal Street and Centre Streets, where there is currently only 2 double-storey builds.
Director Bride.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Certainly the reduction of the 2-storey minimum height requirement affecting Fitzroy Street and Wellington Street, that actually abides or abounds to an R40 or R60 on the southern side of Wellington Street. So it transitions into a consistent R-coding location. So that was the general rationale for reducing the area that the 2-storey height limit responds to. And then on using the drain, which is obviously on the backside of Prince Street, that whole precinct is experiencing a fair bit of 2-storey development. Yes, more so on the Wharf Street, southern end of Wharf Street near Centre Street. But that particular precinct then is opposite a higher density precinct, which is the R160 precinct across the road. So I guess you've got a transition from a lower density to a medium to a higher density, and that's the rationale.
Thank you. Councillor Hurn.
Over the last few years since I've been on council, I've had quite a few inquiries concerning this planning scheme. My question today is, can the city officers please clarify which requirements under the planning scheme are subject to city planning officer discretion and which are not? Now, one of the things I know that the officers have had some discretion about was the 80% footprint maximum under some areas has been compromised for developers. How do we know, and how do people building in this area know which requirements are subject to discretion and which are not?
Director Bride.
Through Mr. Mayor, certainly more significant projects go through the DAP. So those discretionary elements, and they are specific to the application. Obviously, each application doesn't always meet every single criterion specified in the structure plan. The structure plan is a due regard document, so there can be discretion given. So that's an assessment or analysis as part of the report that goes to DAP. For more minor applications, there is that delegation which has conditions around is the variation relevant? Has there been objections in relation to the variation? So a whole range of things go into play as to whether that variation is granted. But certainly it is a due regard document and there can be arguments made for variances of various provisions.
Thank you, Director. Any further questions on the item before we push on? Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just a couple of questions, if I may. Just referring to the LSP on page 134, 77 Mallard Way, which is the large single block in orange in the southwest. Is the city comfortable with a 5-storey building potentially being built at this site under the new rezoning of R160? And is the current zoning, that is R30, R40, the reason why the landowner is yet to develop that site?
Director Bride.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, certainly that came out of the feasibility analysis. There's not too many lots that are that large. So it's an opportunity to get a reasonable amount of development. It is a large site. The range is 2 to 5 stories, so that is correct. So there is a bit of discretion and allowance there for the developer, but certainly we would expect, given that land has been vacant for a number of years, hopefully with this change in zoning, which will allow for a lot more development, there might be some more interest because that is a key development site. You can see the size of it and the proximity to the train station. So yeah, certainly we hope we get some applications on that site.
Thank you, Director Bride. Thank you for your questions, councillors. We'll move on then to the final item, which is from the Directorate of Mr Warren Bowe. It's IE 002 of 26. The report title is The Outcomes of the Public Consultation High Road Speed Limit Reduction. The officer's recommendation is on page 136 and it also appears on screen. Any questions in relation to the proposed application? Yes, councillor.
Yes, I just have a question. I would like to know of the 312 crashes, how many were actually speed related as opposed to inattentive drivers on the road? And the second part to that question is statistically over 10 years the crashes have reduced. So I'd like to know where, have we got the detail about where on High Road and geolocated a lot of those accidents have been happening?
Director Bowe, how deeply do we dive on that data?
We can provide the locations of those crashes, Mr Mayor, and we're happy to provide those, Councillor Ross. In relation to those involving speed, we can interrogate the data and provide you with some information on that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Secon.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The High Road Safety Inspection refers to data from 2019 to 2023. Is there a way to obtain the most recent data from main roads over the last 2 years?
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I might just ask our Service Lead Engineering Services, Mr Wells, to answer that question.
Through the Mayor, yes, we can provide more up-to-date crash data. That crash data was provided in a road safety inspection, so we wanted to keep it consistent with the road safety inspection and provide that crash data. But yes, we can provide more up-to-date data.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Secretary? You have another question?
Yes, I do. So based on the High Road Speed Limit survey responses, I think there was 433 that responded. Is there any way of knowing how many of them were actually City of Canning residents or residents of the affected areas around Riverton and Willerton?
Mr Bowe.
Via reading, I guess, the 400 plus responses, there is an indication from the respondents as to how they use and interact with High Road. And we certainly know that the initial responses received were from residents who fronted High Road because we mailed the consultation letters directly to those residents.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Secon.
So just as a follow-up, is there a way of knowing sort of like if 20% or 30% are City of Canning residents by postcode or some sort of indicators on the survey?
Do we take that information,
Mr Mayor,
Director?
I don't believe we require that information for registration on the Your Say platform. So I don't believe we can provide with any degree of certainty that, Councillor Secon.
Okay, thank you. One more question.
Yes, of course.
What's the average speed limit employed at similar distributor road types across the metropolitan area?
Like Orong Road,
Is it?
similar to High Road.
Yeah, similar to High Road.
I'd have to take that on notice, Mr Mayor. We certainly have provided some comparative roads within the City of Canning, similar but not exactly the same road environments. And certainly Vale Avenue is 60 kilometres an hour, Nicholson Road 60 kilometres an hour, but there's also the example of Leach Highway, which has some similar characteristics, including access for residential properties, which has a gazetted speed of 70 kilometres an hour.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Secon, did you have another question?
One last question, if I may. How do the officers reconcile the strong community objection with the safe system and crash reduction evidence?
Director?
That's an interesting question. Thanks, Councillor Secon. Certainly, we take the feedback from those who engaged with the survey seriously, but road safety and traffic management and transport engineering are their own discipline. We have our own qualified and competent staff, and we have Main Roads who are ultimately the expert and the guiding authority in determining and assisting us in making decisions on gazetted speed limits throughout the city. It is a challenge when undertaking public consultation in this space, but we certainly wouldn't be making recommendations to council based on public opinion in relation to travel speeds on public roads.
Just to provide some additional information, I think the city staff have undertaken a fairly comprehensive review of the data in front of them. So it's not only accident history, it's also the prevailing speed and the access control adjacent to this road. So all of those things have supported a recommendation that the speed limit be reduced. Bear in mind the 85th prevailing speed is 58 to 66. So, the vast majority of traffic are not travelling at 70 kilometres per hour regardless, cannot do so. And the access control on High Road would suggest that a greater degree of caution is necessary, which again has supported the recommendation to reduce speed. So appreciate that community consultation will certainly generate an outcome. Hopefully, we've taken all of those things into consideration, but an informed recommendation to council has been provided.
Thank you.
Councillor?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. Councillor Kunze?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, I just have a few questions. Through you to Director Bowe, if I may, can staff please provide the road traffic data for the various locations we have on High Road, such as vehicle movement data and the average speed and 85th percentile speeds along High Road? Director
Bowe?
Yes, we can, Mr Mayor, yes.
Thank you. Just following on from some of the responses provided, a lot of the report is written assessing High Road against the MRWA speed zoning policy and taking guidance from Main Roads. But taking it to paragraph 38, where it stipulates that it's important to acknowledge that Leach Highway is also a similar road environment to High Road, with sections within the City of Canning affording direct access to residential properties whilst retaining a posted speed limit of 70 kilometres per hour. The point of difference between High Road and Leach Highway is that the latter is under the care and control of Main Roads WA. The longer term strategic objective for this road is to transition to an expressway. So even though the city has made a recommendation based on expert staff opinion and guidance from MRWA, this MRWA has a road extremely similar based on that stipulation to High Road, but MRWA is not slowing it down. They're in fact wanting to speed things up and make it an expressway, which will obviously impact those residential properties. How do you, I guess, reflect on the fact that the recommendation opposes what MRWA is doing with their own roads under their control in the City of Canning?
Director Bowe.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I take your point, Councillor Kunze, but there's main roads wouldn't convert Leach Highway to an expressway whilst retaining the residential access and crossovers onto that. It's a long-term 15, 30-year time horizon that conversion would happen. It would require a significant purchase of private property at a point in time to enable that road environment to be created.
Thank you. Councillor
Can I
Kunze.
just...
CEO.
Leach Highway is also a heavy haulage road, so it is a substantially different road and a higher order road than High Road. I wouldn't lose sight of that.
Sorry, I'm just going on what the officer report stipulates. And just last question, similar to my comments at last council meeting, just when the city developed Local Planning Scheme 42 and in the review of the Local Plans 42 and the supporting strategies, does your department provide any advice or regarding the road corridor and the city's plans to intensify activity along these corridors?
Director Bowe.
Yes, it does, Mr Mayor, yes.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you. Any further questions on the item? Yes, Councillor.
Just regarding this item, is there any data about the difference, if there has been any impact difference, reducing the speed from 70 to 60 on Nicholson Road between High Road and Metcalfe? Because that's been a similar situation, and forward exactly the same thing which would happen.
When was that speed reduced on Nicholson Road from 70 to 60, Director Bowe? Do we know?
Certainly it's been at that gazetted speed in my time with the city, Mr Mayor, but the Vale Avenue gazetted speed was altered a few years ago. But we can do some research, Councillor Ross, and if we have that information, we're happy to distribute it.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Has the city considered reducing the number of entry and exit points as the shopping centre precincts on High Road?
Director Bowe, is that something that we can control, our access from private land?
Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, we do have a policy along a lot of High Road, especially towards the Leach Highway end, which actually controls those access points. But yeah, in terms of restricting access points to the shopping centre, unless there's a redevelopment, it would be difficult. We can always look at that, but I don't think we can do that unless there was a redevelopment proposal that was on foot.
They would be conditions of the planning approval, the original planning approval, so you'd have to go back to change the conditions of the original approval. It'd be pretty difficult to unpick it. Yes, Deputy Mayor.
I bring that to the city's attention because I believe that was one of the recommendations from the road safety audit.
Thank you. Councillor Page and then Councillor Ross.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to clarify, obviously the public consultation was part of a council resolution. Is public consultation required for proposals to change speed limits on council roads, or is it just because this was a resolution?
It was, yes, the Director.
We don't believe it's a requirement to enable the speed to be changed, Councillor Page, no.
Can I ask, when we've had previous public consultations, is it generally that the sort of public opinion that they don't want the road speeds reduced? Is that a general theme amongst these public consultations?
Director Bowe, is that?
I don't think I can answer that with any certainty.
Subjective,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Ross? Fine with that? Thank you. Thanks, councillors. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Item 7.5 is the director of Mr Gary Fisher. There are no items from that directorate. Item 8, notices a motion for consideration at the next ordinary council meeting. I'll give notice that the Deputy Mayor has lodged a notice of motion, which will be presented at next week's OCM. At item 9, urgent business, there is none tonight. Item 10, confidential matters, there are similarly none. And at item 11, closure, there being no further business, I now declare the agenda briefing of this evening closed, the time being 7:17 p.m, and I thank everyone for their attendance. Thank you.